What's up, Colorado State Rams fans? Rich Kurtzman here from MileHighSports.com here at sunny Lubick Field at the on-campus stadium in a less than victorious fashion for your Colorado State Rams as they were defeated soundly 45-28 by the Air Force Falcons. That's right, the Falcons completely ran over the Rams for 413 total yards on the day, including 4 rushing touchdowns. It was phenomenal offense for the Falcons. They actually only had to throw the ball 4 times on the day, and one of those actually turned into a touchdown, a 56-yard touchdown to be exact. For the Rams, it was a complete and total embarrassment, as Mike Bobo said after the game. He said, quote, "We got our ass kicked," and he was pulling no punches. It was an embarrassment. They did get their asses kicked. And, Michael Gallup, Nick Stevens, they both agreed that it was an embarrassment after this game. Well, the Rams on offense did quite well, and let's recap the game really quickly. Air Force, they started the game off quickly with a score capped with a Tavin Burdo spinning touchdown. He had 2 rushing touchdowns on the day, did Burdo, but CSU struck back even faster as Dalen Dawkins ran for 76 yards and a score, squirting through the offensive line and turning on the Jets to get to the house. Then after Air Force's first throw of the day, which was picked off by Anthony Hawkins, that was the one highlight for the defense all day, is that Anthony Hawkins was able to pick off that pass early in the game. CSU took one play as Nick Stevens connected with Michael Gallup on a 55-yard touchdown. That was explosive. That was exciting. It looked like CSU, that they were going to walk all over Air Force in this game. They did anything but that. They took that lead 14-7 early in the first quarter, and then early in the second quarter, Air Force, they were able to put together a 13-play drive. They had many of these long drives to not only run the clock, but just run the ball really well on CSU. They went 75 yards on that drive, and that was capped off again by Burdo scoring his second touchdown on the day. That tied the game up at 14-14 with still 12:45 left in the first half. CSU marched right back down. They went 75 yards to score as Stevens hit Adam Prentice for Prentice's first score on the season and first score in his career to take that lead back at 21-14. That was the last time CSU would lead all day, even though it looked like this game would be back and forth. No, Air Force, they kind of took over at that point because the momentum swung all in their direction. They walked all over CSU with a 53-yard touchdown run by Jacob Stafford. That was the second different player to score on the day for Air Force. And then Nick Stevens, he was picked off and it was returned for a score as Nick Stevens was pressured. He was asked after the game, what happened? Why were you not able to protect the ball as well? He just simply said they picked the ball off, but he acknowledged that he should not have forced that ball while he was being pressured. That was a terrible throw. It was absolutely horrendous, and it was the first of 3 picks for Stevens on the day. It wasn't just an interception, that was a pick 6. So just like that, Air Force scored twice in a row, and within 3 minutes of game time, the Rams were up a touchdown, then they were down a touchdown within only 3 minutes of game time. Then the Rams, they tried to drive and tie the game up at halftime. They were trailing at this point 28-21. And they got close, but Stevens again threw a pick. This time it was an overthrow. He threw it over Dalton Fackrell's head. He said that he just forced that one again and that he should have checked down on that play, but he didn't. He threw a pick there. The Rams were unable to score going into half. Luckily, Air Force they decided to just kneel the ball out and run the clock out. They could have possibly put another touchdown on the board, but instead they were playing conservatively, and they went into halftime leading 28-21. Well, after the break, CSU capitalized with getting the ball, and Izzy Matthews, he was able to push the ball over the goal line and juke around a defender to trot into the end zone. That tied the game up at 28-28. That was Izzy Matthews' 12th straight Mountain West Conference game with a touchdown. That's phenomenal for him dating back to last year. He actually had 17 touchdowns over that span. Izzy Matthews is a complete beast, specifically against Mountain West teams. He has 6 scores on the season. Izzy was a highlight in this game. He's been a highlight of the entire season for the Rams. But then it was all Air Force from then on out. They worked the ball down the field, but couldn't get into the end zone. This was another highlight for the Rams defense. They actually held Air Force out of the end zone as they kicked a 20-yard field goal to go up 31-28. Now, if Calhoun was a little bit more aggressive, they probably could have put that ball in the end zone too. They didn't. The Rams were down only 3. They looked like, at this point that the Rams either had to score and take the lead or that they were going to be out of the game. And that is kind of what happened. CSU ended up having to punt the ball away on the next drive, and Air Force, they again capitalized, throwing the ball twice in a row. This is when their throwing game actually came to life. These are their only 2 throwing completions for the entire game, and one of them was that 56-yard touchdown throw from Worthman to Ryan Reffett for the 38-28 lead with 11:53 to go. And then the Rams, they basically went 3 and out. They decided to punt the ball away on a 4th and 7 from the 45-yard line of Air Force, and with 10:30 to go, that basically sealed their fate as Air Force was able to run the clock out. They basically ran 10 more minutes off the board, and they scored again when Arian Worthman ran the ball in to give him that eventual 45-28 victory and that winning margin. That was basically it, besides Nick Stevens throwing a 3rd interception. And the Rams, they lost their first game of conference, now 4-1 in conference and 6-3 overall. Basically, the defense has been terrible for the last 3 weeks. This is the worst performance that they put on. And it's kind of shocking because they played a triple option team in New Mexico last week. They played a triple option again today. They were just completely, absolutely dominated from beginning to end. They couldn't force a punt until the very end. They should be embarrassed. This was a difficult loss, and what I'm writing about right now for milehighsports.com, so check that out in about an hour, that the Rams are now 2-6 in rivalry games with Mike Bobo as head coach. They need to fix something. You know, Bobo didn't buy into the whole rivalry thing after the game, and that there was a trophy at stake, the Falcon trophy. He said that every game is a trophy game. Well, maybe there was something to be said for that extra oomph that these other teams, CU and Air Force, are getting, knowing that it's a rivalry game that his CSU Rams aren't. Anyway, the Rams lose here. They fall to 6-3 on the season. I'm Rich Kurtzman from milehighsports.com, and again, check us out on the Mile High Sports app, and look out for the CSU Ramscast, which publishes every Tuesday and Friday every week, 2 podcasts a week, and that is presented to you in part by Crazy Carl's Pizza, as is this recap. Thanks, Rams fans.